And it's time now for the Great British Debate this hour. I'm asking, are left-leaning Labour MPs naive about immigration? Some MPs are urging Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood to soften, can you believe it, her Danish-style immigration plans. Notting East MP Nadia Whittam even called the policies undeniably racist. I mean, you really couldn't make this up. So for the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, are left-leaning Labour MPs naive about immigration? Well, joining me now, broadcaster and journalist Danny Kelly, and also leader of the Climate Party, Ed Gemmell. Right. Now, Ed Gemmell, this was all based on the Denmark, on the style that they were using. Tell us a bit about it, because I know you've done your research.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and I think the answer to the question, actually, is I think they are probably a bit naive, and I think Shabana Mahmood is actually working on trying to come up with something that's going to help with the problem. So, I mean, I think she's trying to go in the right direction. Denmark, yeah, they seem to have done something really very interesting on this. So, and they seem to, certainly on the stats, they're controlling the problem. So what they've done, they're personally targeting people that are, sorry, when you're coming in, you have to show that you've been personally targeted by a foreign regime. So you've got to prove that you're personally targeted, not just that you happen to be in the city and something difficult was happening in that city at the time. It'll always be only on a temporary basis. There's none of this permanent leave to remain or anything else. You're actually looking as well, if your home country becomes safe, you get returned. So actually, if the Home Office decides that the Foreign Office decides it's safe, you get back. Tighter rules on family members coming over, both got to be over the age of 24, so none of this, fudging it and all that sort of thing. You've got to be able to speak Danish language. An interesting one, which I suspect is where the left-leaning MPs are probably more worried, is they also have a thing about if you're an immigrant, who's an illegal immigrant who's come in, but you've actually claimed asylum, but you're living in what they call a parallel society. So an area of accommodation in which more than 50% of the people there are not from a Western background, and this is what the Danish are saying, then you would not be able to bring your partner into that environment. So they've got some very interesting rules. I suspect the last one is the one where people are particularly worried. But I do think that a requirement for integration is a very important this. If you can't integrate properly, you shouldn't be coming in. So Shabana Mahmood should be looking at integration, even if that wasn't the solution to it.
Danny Kelly.
A Labour MP, left-leaning, saying that it's undeniably racist. I mean, we were speaking earlier on before the break about the importance of sticking to your manifesto, and people potentially... Labour have got over 400 seats, and I wonder how many seats they would have had if they hadn't have included the promise not to put up the insurance or the tax. And now we are where we are. We've got left-leaning Labour MPs saying it's well, that left-wing Labour MP might not even have a constituency seat had that manifesto not been written as it was. It just makes me so frustrated that politicians think they could just change promises. It's not undeniably racist. We were talking earlier on in the green room about the Birmingham City against the Tel Aviv football match the other night. And we were talking, this is a great example, how Birmingham demographically has changed over the last 25, 30 years. Now, without getting too parochial, because I understand that this is a national television station, but there are areas of Birmingham where I've driven down from this afternoon, like Small Heath, Allen Rock, Washwood Heath. Areas like 30 years ago, you'd have seen white English Brummies, and now you don't. It's overwhelmingly, it's Bangladeshi, it's Pakistani. Now, you can argue, is that a good thing? I don't think it is a good thing, because there is no diversity, there's no integration, it's just a silo of people whose mum and dad and grandparents came from the Indian subcontinent.
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, TallyMoney is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. What is TallyMoney?
Well, at TallyMoney, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just living credit. Whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, You need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponise against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward. And that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from TallyMoney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
Now, if this Danish model is trying to preserve Danish culture, then I don't have a problem with that. Brummie culture is disappearing in areas of Birmingham. Areas of Manchester, Manc culture is changing.
Just because someone's a different colour, it doesn't mean that they won't.
We're talking about culture, not colour.
No, I haven't finished. I haven't finished there.
Forgive me.
Just because they're a different colour doesn't mean they won't adopt the culture, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
So it may be predominantly people from an Asian background. However, many of those people from that background, especially if they're born in this country, may well adopt a British culture. So that's what I'm saying.
OK, I'll come back. But it's not working in areas of Birmingham. It's not working in areas of Manchester. So that's an idealistic way of looking at things. But it's in practice, it's not working.
No, hold on. It's not idealistic. I'm just pointing out that the narrative that someone is just a different colour so they won't be culturally similar is wrong.
But I never said that.
No, but I'm clearing the air.
I never alluded that either.
No, well, in a way, by what you're saying, it does sound like that because you're saying, so hear me out, because I listened to you, I haven't interrupted you, and you're interrupting my every other word. So my point that I'm making is that if your assumption is that you're looking at an environment where people are a certain colour and assuming they won't adopt the culture, that's not necessarily true.
No, it's not true.
Some of those people, many of those people may well have adopted the culture. If, however, they haven't, then your point is absolutely
I agree with you.
True.
Maybe I can draw everybody back as well to the original issue about immigration, which is rather than the actual integration one. I know I started it, but I mean, in terms of the immigration, there is no question right across the board, every political party, political spectrum in the UK, we want to have a better solution on our immigration, and we've got to come up with some ideas. The Danish have some ideas, and to give her due, Shabana Mahmood's looking at it, which I think is a good idea. I think there's a couple of other things that could be considered, and I'm not saying that these are silver bullets, but I think I'd like them to be considered and put in the mix. Focus on the traffickers and everything else, all of the infrastructure around it.
Oh, no,
so
smash the gang.
Hang on. No, but let me give you an idea of how to do it. I mean, and then I have a second thing as well to bring in the mix. And it's putting these things in the mix and then getting a selection of things that we can do together. So focus on them, make it extremely clear that anybody involved in any chain of the trafficking whatsoever, whether it's transporting those little rubber boats over, whether it's getting them onto the boats, whatever stage of it at all, you automatically get a sentence and there's no wriggling out of it. Because currently under our criminal justice system, you can wriggle out and get a lower sentence than that. So the potential is to get a life sentence, but you don't normally get it. So make it a double life sentence, and then you can have an argument about where do you serve it. So potentially something like a Rwanda scheme or something like that. So you get your life sentence and you go immediately over there. And it's only a question of where you involved.
It's not going to work. Smashing the gangs, stop the boats, stop the dinghies, whatever catchphrase you want, it's not going to work, because if someone is sentenced to life in wherever, they're going to be replaced. It's like the mafia. You take out a mobster, it's going to be replaced by somebody else. It's so lucrative. They're earning millions and millions of euros that a jail sentence of 10, 12 years is not a deterrent, because it's just going to be replaced.
That I agree with you. It's why I wasn't suggesting it's 10 or 12 years. We make it much more fixed, target them, make it very, very clear what's going to happen.
So life without
all of your money, all of your property goes, and you go off for a double life sentence.
A double life sentence?
Somewhere else, and it's immediate, done.
Yeah, but you can't enforce in a third country what they give someone as a sentence.
Second quick idea is when you've got these illegal immigrants coming in and that sort of thing, why not, instead of putting them straight into hotels, paying for them, social benefits and all this sort of thing, they immediately go into service somewhere. And whether that is in the army, working with the rubbish trucks.
In the army?
I'm not suggesting. What I suggest is you look at it. You're looking at discipline. You're looking at other things as well. Other services, whether it's services where we need people and we can't get them. Look at them actually working straight away on a temporary basis.
I'm going to stop you there.
And
madness.
And at the same time, process their applications.
And that, my friend, is where madness lies. And you'll have loads of people wanting to come over here to get a job very quickly, and people who are applying for visas to come here to work properly morally and legally will be up in arms.
We don't know who
we
they
are
are.
talking about illegal
Exactly.
immigration.
Yeah,
but-
I'm not having that.
We don't know who the hell these people
We don't know
are.
who they are. And I do actually.
But at the
agree-
moment, what we do
I
is-
do actually agree with you in terms of the integration in this country. I don't want to see areas where where it's all one race or one. I want to see areas, and in particular, the indigenous population of this country. I don't want to see areas where it's completely changed, because I don't think that's right. I don't think it works. I'd like to see a nice, happy, colourblind society where everyone works together, but not too much of one and too much of another. All this.
And can I just put it? I mean, in terms of the idea which you shot down in flames, which is fine.
Right,
but
yeah.
but
No,
what I'm trying not to see is all of these hotels with people who are doing nothing stuck in them, and we're doing it. So trying to come up with a way to get beyond that and make it useful.
Beyond that is the deterrent that stops people from coming in that way in the first place. Then we don't need to house and feed people for years on end needlessly, and then for them to invite their entire family, which we'll then pay for, and they languish on benefits. Not good. I know there are many who do work and do well in this country, but we have probably over 100,000 who are doing pretty much nothing.